Well, I'm telling you, if it's not one thing, it's another. We had a couple weeks ago, we couldn't figure out how to get iRacing fired up after the update, but the folks of iRacing have been very, very gracious and very patient while I email back and forth to get things working, and found a temporary solution. And now that we actually get to see race cars on the track, this fun little super late model race is going to be something to watch. But we're having trouble switching positions between the drivers, so it seems like we're at the mercy of iRacing. But we'll get it figured out one way or another here. Austin Purnell's going to lead. Dustin Painter in the 6.5 is going to be on the outside. And looks like we've got Tommy Withers in the back as well with Ryan Pennell in the 1-2. We'll try and keep up and move around cars as best we can. But we're going to survive these 100 laps, and we're glad that you're going to survive it with us too. So it's race number 3 here of the ARCS Xtreme Asphalt Series. They've been doing this for a few years now, and this is Dustin Painter's brainchild. Team Money's in the house as the pace car peels off, and we're green at New Smyrna. Purnell off to an early lead. There's Dustin Painter on the outside with the 0-8 of Ryan Pittman to his left-hand side in that Johnny Benson liveried Pontiac Grand Prix late model, and he sits in the second position. Dustin Painter right behind him as the 0-8 gives it a little bit of a wiggle, and Purnell goes purple 17:58 in that first lap. Tommy Withers sitting in 5th, but can't switch to him because we don't have control over what's going on. Ryan Pennell had an incident. Let's see if we can catch up with what happened to the 1-2 as that replay banner sits there forever. And I guess we're not going to catch up with what happened with Ryan Pennell. Okay. Man, if it's not one thing, it is another. So we're going to try and get these overlays figured out. Purnell goes purple again, 17:46. You're watching the battle for second between Ryan Pittman and Dustin Painter. Pennell slow on the inside. That's the 1-2 advanced car that just got overtaken. As soon as we can figure out what's going on, we'll swap to him. Ryan Pittman, 3/10 of a second ahead of Dustin Painter coming out of that second corner here. Trying to fix everything at once, and it's not working. We're going to get this figured out. T-Money says this update's been rough on a lot of drivers, and it has been. Bama Trama's in the house as well. What's going on, Mama Balls? Yeah, this update has been pretty difficult, but we'll keep on soldiering on. We'll keep on figuring this out here. 9 laps into this 100 lap event. Still watching Austin Pittman while the battle behind them is Briley Wright and Tommy Withers. And there goes Dustin Painter. Looks like he's going for a spill out of that second corner. Ryan Pennell has crashed again. Now, by some miracle, the camera changes, and I have no idea what's going on at this point. Ryan Pennell's also fallen off the racetrack, so it's chaos all around at New Smyrna. And we're 11 laps into this one. There goes Ryan Pennell. Wave goodbye to Ryan Pennell, children. Slow out of turn number 2, and man, you know what? I'm just going to Google solutions on my phone until we get these camera angles figured out as well. But if you've just tuned in, it's been an absolute disaster. Not on the racetrack. That's entertaining. I can't get this overlay figured out. If anybody knows SDK iRacing overlays, by all means, chime in with a solution, if you could be so kind. Sit tight. We're going to try and work a couple things out here and see how we can get this working again. And that one doesn't work. All right, so I don't know. I tried messing with the camera angles here, but so far, absolutely nothing. Riley Wright running in that 4th position right there as the camera swaps to him beyond our control. Tommy Withers behind him, rounding out the top 5. Ryan Pennell struggling to stay on the racetrack, as it were, and Austin Purnell kind of just running game right now. 17 laps in, he's led every single circuit at New Smyrna, and behind Riley Wright, the Virginian Tommy Withers, now chasing not only Riley Wright, but this driver here, Dustin Painter, in the 6.5. He's trying to go to the inside of, not Pittman, but Anthony Cordray in the 14C. Lurkin Tom Gaming says, let's go Ryan Pennell. Trying to cheer him on to the lead. And Ryan Pennell's only 6 spots behind the leader. Purnell leads 1 second ahead of Ryan Pittman. 19 laps underway at New Smyrna. Cordray in the 014, just sitting there ahead of Tommy Withers. Okay, so I can bring up overlays, right? I can bring up different things, but I can't. I can't necessarily change drivers here. It's got to be just some button that I've clicked by mistake that's ruined absolutely everything, but I can't figure it out. Lurkin asking, "Where's Toby Estes?" And, you know, that's anybody's guess. Genuinely anybody's guess to where Toby Estes could be. But, Toby, if you're watching, I hope you're having as much fun as we're having in the booth here. Just can't get what's going on here. But we'll figure this out one way or the other, right? We'll persevere. And Ryan Pennell goes around on the front straight. But we have no control over these cameras, so we'll get to Ryan when we get to him. Lurkin Tom, a.k.a. Tom Sears, cheering for Ryan. And this is the race leader, Austin Purnell, and as far as I have no control here, I guess we're just going to follow along with Austin Purnell while we can, because none of these buttons work, and I have no idea how to fix it. But, you know, we'll hang along here. Can we bring up the dashboard? Absolutely, and there's Austin Purnell cruising along at 90 miles an hour. Fantastic. You'll love to see it. Okay, so we'll just persevere. 32's leading by 1 second. Ryan Pittman trying to chase him down. It'd be great if Pittman could close this gap, and then this camera angle that we're stuck on would be very worthwhile, and I think Pittman's got the message. 9/10 of a second is now the gap here. 26 laps into this one. And T-Money in the chat, a.k.a. Thomas Andrews, strategizing, talking about where Toby Estes and Cody Riggs spend their time Mondays and Wednesday nights. And Austin Pittman now within 9/10 of a second to Austin Purnell, and 4 seconds adrift of these two is North Carolina's Dustin Painter. But hey, while the camera angle's stuck on these two, you know, it's worthwhile because they get closer to battling for the lead here. Expect the drivers to go the distance in this race, and iRacing is windowed, so let's fix that as well. You know what? Let's just call this a test session for tonight. We're just going to throw new stuff out here and see what works and see what doesn't, right? We might as well. Hold on for me. I think we're just going to turn this into an open floor podcast. Might as well just discuss racing in general. And you know, I tell you what, I was watching some early 2000s races, and one race that I came across was an IROC race, and anybody that's been in our Discord over the last week knows how much I love the IROC series. And Bobby Labonte ended up winning that race. Lurkin Tom Gaming, a big fan of Bobby Labonte. Riley Wright running in that 4th position. Many of you know Bobby Labonte, the 2000 Cup champion. I think he beat Lurk and Tom would know. What was the gap in 2000 where Bobby Labonte just edged Dale Earnhardt for the points? And then, was it Atlanta? Was it Atlanta, that last race of the season, where it came down to a photo finish between Bobby Labonte and Dale Earnhardt? Great finish, that one. All right, still not able to control these camera angles. I've clicked literally everything, but maybe we'll click some more buttons and throw some stuff out there. T-Money's definitely in the house. Thomas Andrews. You know what? And that's something I don't know. Who was Thomas Andrews' favorite NASCAR driver? Tom Sears in the chat. You could tell me, because I don't know. Was it Rusty Wallace? That's right, and that probably explains why he drives that blue Deuce in TNT. Anyway, if you've just tuned in, cameras are going all over the place, and it's basically just just a free-for-all as far as what these cameras are going to do. Austin Purnell is still the race leader. 9/10 of a second is the gap between him and Ryan Pittman. And that's the closest gap between the 7 cars that are out here. I don't know if Ryan Purnell is even still running in this one so far, but if he's not, is he even running? Yeah, no, he's still clocking time. Just can't find him on the racetrack anywhere because I can't control these damn cameras. But shout out Ryan Purnell, who's still running. And shout out you if you're watching this. Thanks for tuning in. But for what it's worth, this is not the professionalism that I expected to come out with tonight, but this show goes on either way. We're going to finish this one to the end. The cameras magically switch to Ryan Pittman, who is 1 second behind Austin Purnell. And now Pittman draws ever closer, 9/10 of a second, as the Ford Thunderbird liveried Tommy Withers sits in that 5th position. Lurkin asking if the camera's focusing on close battles now. I would assume so, but I don't know what button I need to click to make this function. Thursday night, when we did Thursday Night Thunder, everything was working perfectly fine. We had the race at Watkins Glen. It was awesome. Toby Estes dominated. He got the win for the Bluegrass Bandits, and it was the first time that the Bluegrass Bandits had actually swept a race this season. So undoubtedly, they were celebrating all weekend. And one of the Bluegrass Bandits has decided to show up tonight. Briley Wright in the 5-1, who runs in 4th. Lurkin Tom saying Purnell is cooking just before we get to the halfway mark. Yeah, it's about a 1 second gap from Austin Purnell down to 2nd place. And now the camera's on Tommy Withers. Okay, so we're just going to keep on clicking buttons until something works in here. And Tom Sears. Really going out there. Thomas Andrews. Thomas Andrews and Tom Sears just talking absolute nonsense in here. Briley Wright in the 5-1. Sitting in 4th. Tommy Withers in 5th. No idea what's going on with these cameras. We're going to figure this out. And Anthony Cordray behind Tommy Withers, but that's not 4th position. Tommy Withers a full lap ahead of Anthony Cordray, and I'm pretty sure Tommy Withers is a lap behind these guys. Money saying Purnell has the car figured out. You better believe it. 1.5 seconds the gap now. They just hit the halfway mark. 50 laps into this race. 1.5 seconds from first to second. And relatively speaking, the gap is 1.6 from first to second. And then Ryan Pittman has almost 4 seconds from second to third. So you find it kind of impressive what the top two are doing compared to everybody else on the racetrack. Riley Wright, 7 seconds behind Dustin Painter, and Dustin Painter 8 seconds off the top two. So caution is out here. It looks like they throw the flag at 50 laps here, so that's kind of the halftime flag. And we're going to try and get our overlays figured out. We apologize for this first half screw up, but we're going to get this worked out, and we're going to see what we can do here in this second try. All right, so bear with us. We'll be back here in a few minutes, and we'll try and get these overlays working again. Racing once again at New Smyrna, and the caution's out immediately as Ryan Purnell crashes out of turn number 1. Still have no control over what's going on with our cameras, but we'll get that figured out. Austin Purnell leading this race, Ryan Pittman in the second position. And we'll get this worked out one way or the other. Maybe not tonight, maybe not tomorrow, but we're going to get this worked out here. But the caution's out, for the second time tonight? The first time at halfway, and this one just 8 laps later. Car's just going around for a little bit of a spin at the racetrack. And if you just tuned in, you have not missed much at all. Austin Purnell just dominating this race in the 3-2. Ryan Pittman in the 0-8. Sitting in the second position, and that's pretty much been the story for the first 60 laps. And then Dustin Painter in the 6-5 sits behind the both of them. Tommy Withers in fourth. Ryan Pinnell in the fifth position. Cordray and Wright. Looks like Wright bows out of this one. So it'll be 6 cars for the final 40 laps. Okay, the battle box works just fine. Everything is working just fine. The only thing that's not working just fine, as we now have the Thursday Night Thunder replay banner up, is the overlays. And we'll get it worked out. I'm confident. Green flag is out one more time, and they're racing again. Purnell to the inside. Way too many overlays stacked up here. And then on the outside, oh, they're going to make a little bit of contact. Pittman to the inside, on the outside there in the Valvoline machine as the camera magically changes to not what we want to see. Too wide out front. 3-2 in the 08. Left and right at New Smyrna inside the final 40 laps. Purnell on the inside, Pittman on the outside. Those two still side by side. And Tommy Withers working on the 6-5 of Dustin Painter. Still side by side for the lead. A little bit of contact. And the 3-2 on the inside. Just trying to hold the grip up off the corner. Austin Purnell. Ryan Pittman making it work for them, and Dustin Painter now catching up to the both of them, and you might just throw the 6-5's hat in the ring on lap 6-5. This could be his time to kick, and maybe this is the time he says, I'm going to charge for the lead. 3-2-0-8-6-5 running 1, 2, 3 as they cross the line. We're inside the final 35 laps at New Smyrna. Still can't control a single angle of what we're watching on screen, but, you know, we'll try our best to keep it moving in the right direction. 0-8 of Pittman. Now with a mirror full of Painter as Austin Purnell runs away with this lead. 0.6 of a second, and that's the biggest lead since the green flag flew. 3-2 still leads. Pittman in second. 0.6 of a second, that gap. Painter with a big slide out of that second corner. .08 of Ryan Pittman sitting in that second position, 0.7 behind Purnell. Painter in the 6-5, running in that third spot. Ryan Purnell running in fourth, using that fast repair actually to come back. He finds himself on the lead lap here, 69 laps recently completed, and now it's 70 up on the board. 30 laps to go. Purnell leads Pittman 0.7 of a second. The gap between them and the points. Coming into tonight's race, Ryan Pittman leads the standings with Dustin Painter behind him by 3 markers. Toby Estes not in tonight's race. Same goes for Matthew Kent, but Briley Wright is in tonight's roster. Same for Tommy Withers, same for Ryan Purnell. All of those drivers going to find a big boost before the night ends tonight. And Pittman wants to boost his night with a victory. Purnell just ahead in that 3-2. Anthony Cordray had an incident a couple of laps ago. He jumps to the pits. We'll see if he finishes tonight's race. Just one fast repair for these guys tonight. 1967, the first time they were running here. And the nice and easy 48 miles for tonight's drivers. We'll see who completes those first. Three, 2, 0, 8, 25 to go next time by. And as far as broadcasts go, this last week has just been tumultuous. From not being able to load iRacing and missing the TNT Bristol race a couple of weeks ago, to finally figuring out a solution on Thursday. And then tonight, I don't even think the problem is iRacing. I think the problem is genuinely my overlay graphics. There's some button I've clicked where I can't switch cameras and switch drivers. But the racing has been good, thankfully. Coming to 23 laps to go. Half a second is what sits between the 3-2 of Purnell and the 0-8 of Pittman. The 14 of Anthony Cordray on the outside. He's going to make way for these two. Pittman doesn't clear Cordray quite as quickly as he'd like, and the gap opens up to almost 7/10 between Pittman and Purnell. One 9 at the line. 3-2 of Purnell still ahead of Pittman. 8/10 the gap between them, and Dustin Painter falling ever behind them. 2 seconds now the marker. Pittman 8/10 behind Purnell. And Cordray not even giving up the fight against the 6-5. 6-5 still just ahead of Cordray, but not for position. Dustin Painter 4/10 ahead of Ryan Purnell. 9/10 now the gap between Austin Purnell and Ryan Pittman. And there goes the 14 of Cordray. He goes for a spill on the front straight, but he's going to be okay. He's going to back it up right into no oncoming traffic. He's going to get her moving just as Tommy Withers comes out of that fourth corner. And now if we could please have the camera magically change back to the leaders, but it's going to stick to Anthony Cordray. And this might be an issue with 15 laps remaining in this race. But we're here, so we got to see it through, right? We just got to see it through. Oh, what a struggle. What a struggle it's been. But, hey, we'll find a fix and we'll keep on pushing through. I guess that's part of the fun of it. There we go. All right. A little bit of a gift from the racing gods. At least we're up to second place. This is Anthony Pittman, who's 1 second behind the leader. Austin Purnell really has cooked all race long. I think it was Lurkin Tom who said it earlier. But just a great race so far, and he's got lucky number 13 laps up on the board to go. And Cordray looks like he even lost the front end of his race car. So 1 second the gap. A dozen to go next time by, and Purnell kind of in cruise control. And if Pittman doesn't really pull any special moves out of the bag, it could be 3-2 in victory lane. We'll see in a very short 12 laps. Pittman on the inside of Cordray, not for position. Purnell running away with this one, 1.2 seconds the gap now. 0.08 of Pittman, 1.2 seconds. He comes into this race with that points lead. Austin Purnell nowhere near him in the point standings. Purnell not even in the top 17 from what I can see, so probably just a part-time schedule for him. But Pittman running out front in the points. 3 lonely markers between him and Dustin Painter, and as long as Pittman finishes second and Dustin Painter finishes in that third position, that gap will just continue to grow. Purnell leading this race, 8 laps to go, and Tommy Withers removes himself from the front of that 32 car. 7 to go next time by, and it's been 3-2 all race long. .08 of Pittman, 1.5 seconds on the outside there, and then the 6 of Tommy Withers in the 5th spot, 1 lap off the pace, but still fighting hard, still turning some laps, what we love to see. A little bit of competition. .65 of Dustin Painter running in third, 4 seconds off of the top 2. Purnell running in that 6.5 now, just stretching that gap out 1.7 seconds. The difference there, it's just fantastic. Two laps to go, and we're almost set here. It's just trying to get these controls figured out, and if you normally watch Thursday Night Thunder, we will get this figured out by Thursday, one way or the other. If I have to re-download this myself and reinstall it, I will do so. But anyway, you know, I guess we're going to learn what we did wrong, and then we're going to get it fixed for the rest of this week. Thursday Night Thunder is going to end up at Auto Club Speedway, 8:40 p.m. right here, Rick James TV. It's going to be the Gen 4 cars, all that horsepower on that super wide, super long front straight on that 2-mile oval. Tommy Withers is going to finish this one by going around in a couple of circles. And the checkered flag is out there. Austin Purnell is your race winner. And Ryan Pennell crosses the finish line. And that kind of just sums up how the evening goes, doesn't it? So we'll figure this out. We'll figure out what works here. Thanks for hanging out with us while we play around with some settings and figure out that technology's a pain in the butt. So we'll see you Thursday night for Thursday Night Thunder from